Oh, time to stop charging my phone. Hi, everybody. Hello to everyone out there in Facebook land. You might notice that Tyrone's not here. Sup, Julian? We're waiting for my man Tyrone to join me. He's running a little bit late, as I have the last 2 weeks. So I'm gonna wait for him to chime in, and then we can all get started on me calling out this 50-year-old man-child who thinks we want a race war. I don't want to go to war, man. I just want peace. I want peace, quiet, and good order. That's all I want. I think that's what a lot of people want, actually. What's up, DJ Addiction, aka Steve? Just looking up a couple things I want to make sure to talk about tonight, so that way I cover everything. Because really, this past week has been nuts, dude. Just me personally, just with people one dude I talked to, and here we go. Tyrone wants to join in, so I don't know how this is gonna work. If we're gonna split screen. All right, thanks, Julian. Go ahead and inbox me. How do I do this thing? Add. What am I doing? Oh, can't turn my phone off.
What's up, brother?
All right. Oh, you in the car?
Yeah, yeah.
Can you see me
Hopefully the
okay?
light is. Oh, I can see you. I can see that silhouette.
Are you basically
No,
not
I,
gonna?
I see you.
Are you not gonna drive until we're done?
Correct.
Dang.
I don't want Popo. So I'm good. I'm good.
All right. Let me make sure I turn this up. Okay. I guess that's as loud as it's gonna be. Alrighty. So
I
you
can
done
hear you
working?
loud and clear. Yes, sir. Yes,
Thank God. All right. So basically, I just woke up. It's so hot in my damn room that I was sweating like 5 minutes ago, and
Did you
my
say
phone.
sweating?
I kept dropping my phone. It was so bad.
Mhm.
It was so bad.
Did you say sweating or sweating?
Yeah, my sweaty balls. All right.
All right.
So I know you and I have talked obviously throughout the week a little bit. But I don't know how much. Did I tell you about this dude I met from Fontana that just went nuts on me over the last few days?
No, no, I'm all ears. That caught me off guard when you sent that. I'm like, okay, what about this
Okay.
race war?
So a friend of mine invited me to this pajama party the last 2 years up in Fontana. She went to high school with this dude, I think, and I don't know if she like really knew him all that well, but whatever. She I guess reconnected with him at a reunion that they had, and so he has these little parties and stuff, and he invites people out. And so I went to their pajama party last year and went this past weekend. And so
Yeah.
this past weekend, I get there to the pajama party, and I remember he didn't really like the fact that Kaepernick was kneeling last year. And I kind of mentioned why, and he just like, yeah, it's just not right, whatever. Kind of just like mumbled and like walked off or whatever. Um, and so we were Facebook friends like shortly thereafter. And as as the time went on, I don't know what happened, but I guess we got deleted. And So when I show up at his party on Saturday, he keeps making these references, and I'm like, what is this dude talking about? He keeps saying stuff like, I thought we weren't friends anymore. I thought we weren't friends anymore. I thought you didn't like me. I'm like,
Yeah.
what is he talking about? I guess alluding to the fact that maybe we weren't Facebook friends anymore. So I check, and we weren't, and I don't know what happened. I don't know if I deleted him. Maybe I did. I don't remember. It's possible that I did. Well, anyway, so I add him back. No big deal. I think a day goes by. I see one of his posts on his page. I don't even remember what it was. Let me actually check. I know I kicked myself off of his page because I couldn't deal with the bullshit anymore. You know, just like when you read cesspool shit like Breitbart and whatever, you're just like, I can't deal with people like that anymore. You know what I mean? He had something.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't even see it anymore because I'm not on his friends list. So, well, anyway, it was about, you know, kneeling at the flag and disrespecting the country and the military and all that stuff. So I just replied and I said, hey, it sounds like you really don't like our freedom of speech, our expression of freedom of speech. And he says, yeah, but why does it have to be, you know, during the national anthem, and why does it have to disrespect the country and the flag? So he keeps going off of the disrespect, country and flag, and national anthem. So through that veil of disrespect, he sees everything else. So he can't see it as, you know, just a method. He just sees it as disrespect and everything else that goes through there. I keep trying to tell him, you know, it's not about the flag. It's, you know, I think I even asked, does he know why they're kneeling and all this kind of stuff? And I can't remember. I think eventually he just basically would not answer questions. So I was trying to engage in dialogue. He didn't answer any questions to see if he even knew what the hell he was talking about outside of his own opinion. And and then he just said, I'm done with this conversation. And then he privately messaged me, and I'm like, all right, whatever. I think there was so much to answer in his private message because it was kind of the same thing all over again. Like he just couldn't let it go, which I get. You know, it's a passionate topic. I get it. But instead of replying through private Facebook message, I went to one of my posts. It was a post about, what the hell was the post about? I forget what the post was about, but I tagged him in it and just said, hey, this can give you some insight as to kind of like what they're kneeling about and everything. And I said, furthermore, you might want to check out 13th, The Color of Fear, the original Birth of a Nation, which is about the Klan and just how the Klan saw the black man and, you know, everything. And I think I referenced like one other, LA 92 about the riots. I said all of that, and I said, hey, you might want to check these out so we can have conversation. Obviously, I knew he wouldn't check them out. But I also gave him like a 3 to 6 minute clip from Color of Fear. I don't know if you ever heard of that documentary, but it's about like 7 or 8 people of different nationalities, black, Japanese, white, Latino, all in like one house for like 3 or 4 days. And they just talk about race in America.
I have to see that.
It's so intense. Me and my boy Eric's watching right now. We watched that and reviewed it. It was so intense, man. And there's this one part where the black dude is just like talking about what it's like to be an American as far as what he's told. And it's basically about assimilation. It's like him just on a rant about why they want us to assimilate. And he said, why don't you talk like us and dress like us and think like us and act like us? And like he's just going off. And he's just like, God damn it, I'm so tired of that. And you're just like, whoa, he's blew up, right? So I gave him that video to watch. 6 minutes, that's nothing compared to everything else I said. He didn't even watch it. I'm like, if you really want to know what we're talking about, why we're kneeling, how we're treated in America, boom, here you go. Here's 6 minutes of just some information from one guy's perspective, which overly encompasses a lot of other people's perspectives as well. And he couldn't even do that. Right. I said, you know, eventually he got into arguments with Eric. He told Eric to leave the country and I'll pay for it and all this kind of junk. Yeah. It was really bad. I'm like, Eric's a good guy. He's not leaving the country, you know. But yeah, he kept talking about people should leave the country if they don't love it. I'm like, that's not how the country was started. That's not how things should be. If you have a problem with something, you don't just say, well, fuck it, I quit and then leave. That's like the worst marriage ever, right? Hey, I don't like that you left the
Yeah.
towel on the floor after you got out of the shower. I'm leaving you. That's the stupidest shit ever. That's petty. So let's work it out. Let's fix it and get to the issues. Whatever. Anyway, so he started posting stuff on my wall. He posted like 4 videos a day over the course of 2 days. So 8 videos. That's more than you posted, and I've known you for years. And I was just like, that's
Right?
way too much. I blocked my wall so people couldn't post on my wall. And then he wrote me a private message, all in caps, about, I knew I was right and you were wrong. That's why you blocked me. I was like, this guy's a 50-year-old man-child. I was right and you were wrong, right? I knew you were right. I know I was right and you were wrong. That's why you blocked me. You guys want a race war? We'll start a race war. Like, it was just like, this is ridiculous. It was.
I just heard that today.
Yeah. Oh, someone told you that today about the race war?
I heard it. I heard it twice in 2 days that all
Wow.
you guys are doing is trying to start a race war.
Wow. That's
Twice.
crazy. Because who the hell wants to go to, like, I don't want to fight. Like I said in the very, very beginning before you logged on, I don't want a war with anyone. I want people to understand so we can have conversation and just talk and understand one another. Tony Reality from ESPN Around the Horn says, what if being a patriot wasn't about, I don't know, all this other stuff, but it was just about listening to someone and caring about another human being? Like, how
Conversation. Exactly.
Huh?
Right? It's conversation. Exactly. It's conversation.
Yeah. So it just really irked me to the point where I had to write, dude, I had to delete him. I didn't block him. I just had to delete him. I said, ultimately, I'm disappointed, not that we disagree, but how you handled yourself. I said, like, you're telling people to go get out of the country and this and that. And I'm like, why don't you do the same thing yourself? We have just as much right to this country as you do. We live here. We were born here. We're not all a bunch of immigrants or illegal immigrants or aliens and all that kind of shit, right? I'm like, if you don't like us complaining, why don't you leave? That way you don't have to hear it anymore. And he never wrote back, but basically I just said, I'm disappointed and take care. I didn't write anything negative to him or anything mean, just left it at that. So he can deal with that. He's never written back. It's been a day or two. I don't expect him to ever write back. I'm never going to go to his party ever again. I think he is an absolute douchebag. He did say, if black people are treated so poorly in this country, why do you stay? Which is one of those, love it or leave it kind of things. And it's almost like saying, go back to Africa. It's coded, it's coded with something.
Well, it's coded, but at the same time, if you say you love something and you see it in, if you see something wrong with something, you want to fix it. So that's the first thing out of our mouths, but then that thing goes in one ear and out the other whenever we say that. And I'm like, so you fight and you have inaccuracy something, or you go to court because you don't like something, or you yell at the police who pulled you over for no reason because you're trying to get somewhere. And so in that instance, because you don't like that, leave the country,
Yeah.
It's like, just like Andre said, it's low-key racism. It totally is,
Mm-hmm.
But,
yeah, always. So that's my recap of that guy. I kind of mad at myself for adding him, but I guess that's what I get for trying to educate people and try to communicate with them. People who actually don't really want to. Like, I shouldn't have, after seeing his first couple of responses, I never should have engaged him ever again. Should have just left it. You can tell when people actually want to talk. They'll actually answer questions and have good responses. You may not agree, but you can tell that they're actually intelligent with how they respond and how they talk and how they process things. And this guy was not coming from a place of intelligence.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, poo-poo on him. So, F him, and he's out of here. So, I know there's only a couple things that we were going to talk about today, and I wish you were here, but we'll have to do it next week. I'll be down in your area again. So we'll have to do it then, hopefully. One of the things I wanted to bring up was Ray Lewis and praying instead of on two knees. Optics and Shannon Sharp calling him out. Have you seen this, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
When you saw Ray kneeling on two knees, ultimately, right? He actually was on one knee at one point. I don't know if that's for a moment or if it was, I don't know, whatever. Maybe he changed his mind. But what did you think about when you saw him on two knees? What did you think he was doing?
You know what? To be honest, I be I didn't see until like two. I saw it the day after or whatever. Because obviously I didn't see it live, but I saw it the day after, and then I didn't see when he rebutted Shannon Sharp and said he's on two knees. So when I saw that, I thought he was cooning. Like I thought he was overplaying it.
Yeah.
Overplaying it so he can cover it up later on. And then I kind of was right when I saw that because I'm like, oh yeah, he was, because he went on TV and said, oh, I was praying. But I really thought he had a different motive in what he was doing, and then I was right because if you look to the side, you see who was there? Sue, right? No, it
It was
wasn't
for the
Donovan Sue. It was
Ravens.
somebody else. Huh? No, the Ravens. Yeah. So another player was kneeling, but he was looking at him with this nasty look on his face, like the whole
Yeah, it
time.
was
He
right
was like,
next to him.
was it right
I
next
don't
to
know
him
who
or
it was, but I
looking at
saw
him?
that.
Yeah,
I think
yeah, I
it,
saw it. I was like, he was looking at him. He was like, "What are you doing? Like, why are you even here?" And it's like the nastiest look. And I was like, "Yeah." They had a conversation beforehand, and something went down. Something went
yeah.
down. So he's trying to save face somehow. But to be honest, I just thought he was overplaying it, and then or saving something for later, so he can come out and say something different. But yeah, it came out to be true. But what did you think he was doing? You thought he was praying?
I didn't know what he was doing. I thought he was double kneeling. I was like, all right, well, I guess he's twice the man of rest of us. I have no idea. Um, but then, Shannon called him out. Oh, C.J. Mosley. Thank you, Mr. Alabama.
Yeah, thank you.
Um,
Yeah.
but here's the thing about C.J. Mosley. From that angle, you can't really tell if he's looking at Ray or he's looking at someone around Ray or like it never really gives full context. Like there's some picture of Bill Clinton makes it look like he's looking at Melania Trump, but you can't really tell if he's looking at her or something. Like he's just making his face, but it makes it look like he's looking at her, and it's like, stop it. You don't know. You're just making this
that's
up.
true. Yeah, yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah,
You're right. You're right.
it looked like double kneeling, and then Shannon called him out the next day, and Ray got mad because he's like, "Why didn't you just call me?" And Shannon's like, "You're right. I could have called you, but optics are you went out there and you kneeled after the president called everyone SOBs. You said you would never kneel. Black Lives Matter doesn't matter to you because they never care about anything going on in the hood. Black on black crime." And
Yeah.
Shannon also pointed out, what kept you from praying with Colin Kaepernick? Oops. Oops.
Yeah.
And that's the question that really remains to be answered.
yeah, but I'm harping on more or less what Ray's motives are, though. Like, you understand, you know what he keeps saying? He keeps saying out of his mouth is that we have to come together as a country. There are rapists, there are murderers out here. There's, what he's doing. He's created division in America and in the league. He keeps vilifying Kaepernick, like straight up vilifying this man. Like he always puts him in a line with rapists and murderers, and we have Ku Klux Klan and we have Nazis in this country. Every time he mentions Kaepernick, he does that. And who's paying him to say this?
Yeah.
Who's paying him to say this? Is he being paid by Soros or by Steve Bannon? Like, who's paying this man to say this? Every time, and every time he says in the back of my head, I think, what is Kaepernick doing to you? Like, did he sleep with your wife, bro? Like, I don't get it. Or one of your baby mamas? Like, I don't get it. Like, what is he doing?
I gotta
like,
say,
kill me.
After or during the Super Bowl, I believe Ray Lewis was accused of using deer antler spray for some kind of performance enhancement. Here it is. Ray Lewis is Bleacher Report, January 30th, 2013. Ray Lewis denies using banned deer antler spray from USA Today. Let's see. It says
Sorry.
allegations of cheating, uh, deer antler velvet extract in an attempt to speed the healing for a torn triceps that sidelined him for more than half the season. Now, we know the Ravens won that Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
But
When he
we
was
also
old.
know that last play of the game where Kaepernick threw the pass into the end zone and there was defensive holding, but they didn't call it. Um, that could have been, you know, that could have been another play before the end of the game. Well, I believe after, and I could be wrong. Um, I believe after that Super Bowl, Colin Kaepernick, after that game, was in an interview and was wearing a Bucks hat that has deer antlers on it. I'm going to show y'all right now.
Okay, I'm loving this now. I'm loving this narrative.
This is it. This is Super Bowl. I think it's the Super Bowl right here. I can't. Let me see. Yep, Super Bowl 40 or 36, 46, loss versus Ravens, Bucks. Come on now.
I'm
So
loving this narrative.
trolling, right? He's trolling his ass off. So I think Ray knows that. Colin knows that. So that's why Ray made those comments a few weeks back. Oh, we were going to sign him. We were going to sign him, but his girlfriend posted that thing on Twitter, so now we couldn't sign him. Wait a second. So Steve Buscemi, or not Buscemi, I'm sorry, Biscotti, what's his name? Stevie B. Stevie B. Was going to sign Colin Kaepernick, but didn't because of his girlfriend's Twitter. So does that mean Tom Brady should be cut from the Patriots because of what Giselle said about concussions in the NFL and Tom having several and them not stopping Tom from playing? Because
and she said about the wide receivers, it was a wide receivers fall, and all this stuff that they lost.
Yeah.
She said a lot. So
or Miko Grimes.
Yeah.
That's Brent Grimes' wife. She says a lot of shit. Brent Grimes still in the NFL. No one's calling for him to be cut from a team because his wife is too wild or crazy or whatever and says too much. So if Colin Kaepernick's girlfriend says too much, then that means Giselle says too much. Brent Grimes says too much. Eli Apple's mom says too much. Maybe Kevin Durant's mom is on TV too much. Like, whatever it is,
LeBron James'
that's not
mom,
really the answer.
The list goes on and on.
Yeah, that's not really the answer. Or someone's being really petty, or someone's lying. I think someone's lying because they know, they're like, look, I got to get this guy back and make it sound like I was in the room and we were close to signing him or wanting to sign him or bring him in, but we went on his Twitter instead. So you're in a room with several people, big decision makers, and you guys are on Twitter.
Men. Grown men.
Grown men, exactly.
Grown men.
And y'all are on Twitter trying to figure out if you should sign somebody or not. That's dumb.
So you just happen to be on Twitter retweeting President or 45's tweets, and you just happen to see that on your timeline?
Yeah.
Because you're following his girlfriend? You're following his girl. Okay, yeah.
If you're following his girlfriend.
Wife. Yeah, her too. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're following his girlfriend, it's going to be a pretty lit Twitter feed.
Right?
Unbelievable.
Right?
Unbelievable. So,
journalistic integrity.
I think ultimately Ray doesn't like Colin, doesn't want to say it because it's a petty reason, considering what's at stake here. And Ray knows he would get called out for calling out Kaepernick like Michael Vick tried to. And it's like, Kaepernick's like, look, I didn't commit a crime, go to jail, nor did I ever get arrested for anything. So you guys can all suck it.
Never.
Yeah. So he's being blackballed, obviously, for BS reasons. So, yeah, I still want to know why Ray openly would not pray with Colin Kaepernick and only came up with the idea a few days ago. That, to me, would be like, okay, that makes sense, or no, I still don't believe you. But to be honest with you, I wouldn't believe him anyway. I wouldn't believe him, no matter what he said.
Kevin said, why would Ray want...
Wait, what'd you say?
No, Kevin said, why would Ray want Cap on the team he made famous, since he does not like Cap and he does not like what Cap stands for.
Oh, yeah,
So
that's a good point.
that's
Well, because
that's a good
Joe
point.
Flacco's still out, isn't he?
No, he's gonna be back next week, I think. But no, all in all, it's about money though. Like everything's about money. Everything's
Yeah.
about money. He is lying, but considering the fact, like I had a post today about, like I love today, like how everybody that's not a journalist is doing. Everybody that's not a journalist is doing the work of a journalist, except for the journalists. you know,
Yeah, we're doing their
like
job.
we all have like the whole Bugs hat thing, and like the whole tying Breitbart to, everything that's going on. We're all doing the work of a journalist, the research, having journalistic integrity, but no one else is. You
Yeah.
know.
And like I brought it up last time or two times ago about Manti Te'o, and it's not about getting it out, most accurately. It's about getting it out first. And that's why we have
Yeah,
fake
that's
girlfriends
right.
on the internet.
Yeah, well, TMZ is worth millions. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know if you
but
heard about this one a couple days ago. I saw it posted somewhere, and I don't know specifics about it. But Sean King is the dude I love. I love what he writes. He writes a lot of things
oh,
about
I love something.
yeah, social injustice and things like that. And he says, "Wow, these two, damn it, hold on, okay, wow, these two Chicago police officers took a knee with a local activist. Oh crap! Now my thing's acting up. I hate this damn computer sometimes. Hold on, hold on. Okay, we're gonna try this again. Here we go. Took a knee with a local activist and said they support Colin Kaepernick. Now the police department is saying they are going to be punished for it. These departments find a way to punish cops whenever they feel like it. This is interesting because I wonder if Chicago PD has ever had anyone killed unarmed and unjustly, and now those cops probably got off without with a vacation, some extra money, some days off, whatever, and these guys take a
Yeah,
knee with a local activist, which is really what the cops should be working with local, local citizens, right? You should be working with the
yeah,
activists to make sure everything's on the up and
supposed to
up.
be,
That way you don't have IAB coming down on you, just like in Law and Order.
supposed to be. But they don't take an oath of service to protect citizens. We know that they take an oath of service to protect the agency that they work for,
Mm.
to uphold the laws. Who's the enemy of the laws? Enemy of the laws are us, because we're the ones that break the laws that they're sworn to uphold. So technically, they're not supposed to protect the community. That's just some kind of PR thing that somebody put out there.
My buddy Kevin, who I think I was telling you about before, um, I know he wants to come on the show like next week before. There he is. Hi, Kevin. He was telling me about there was a court case, and Kevin, maybe you want to type this in as we're talking. There was a court case, I think in 2010, about how cops are not paid to serve and protect. There was a woman who had a restraining order against her ex. I'm typing it in right now as we speak. She had a restraining order against her ex and the kids. And I think it was Supreme Court. That's what it was. Supreme Court ruled that cops do not have a duty to serve and protect. Supreme Court. There it is. And so, yeah, she had a restraining order against her ex, and the ex violated that restraining order, got near the kids, kidnapped the kids. I don't know if he killed the kids, but he kidnapped the kids. And then she called the cops, obviously, and I guess sued the police department. It was like, hey, I called you for, oh, here it is. Wait, no, that's another one. Oh, here it is. 2005 Supreme Court rules that police officers are not here to serve and protect. That's the one I'm looking at. New York Times right here. Justices rule police do not have a constitutional duty to protect and serve. That's crazy. Oh, to protect someone. That's interesting. Constitutional duty. So that whole advertising shit of to protect and serve is BS
That's
because
true.
they don't have to.
Let's start with Julian's point about Kanika Jenkins. Like you would think, like if they're supposed to serve and protect the community, The thing is to find her killer before they would kill again. Because now if she did have a killer, let's say if she did have a killer, because we don't know. Let's say she have a killer. Their job is to find the killer, right?
Right.
To find that person, because get them off the streets because that's a bad person. No, their job is to protect and serve the laws. Like the law, the letter of the law is we have to find out how she died first, like how she died, who killed her, and then investigate that and then prosecute that person. No, they went straight to no, we're trying to do less paperwork. We're trying to build this a suicide just so we can file the paperwork and move on, give the
Mm.
family peace and solace so we can go back and do our jobs. So reverse engineer that, they did it backwards. They started with let's in this case, let's solve it, and then backpedal all the way to the point where she just committed suicide. So let's wrap this case up and go on about her business instead
Right.
of protecting the community. If we all think in our head we watch cop shows, we have to protect the community. We have to get this killer off the streets. We have to get this bad person off the streets. That's not what their job was. They went straight to hush everybody up. Let's solve this case as fast as we can and do paperwork. And then to Kimberly's point, I thought that was the entire point of the PD. In 1970, no, 1980, or something like that, or
Mm.
79 through 85 is when they started putting to serve and protect on
Yeah.
their on police cars. They didn't start doing that until the 70s or 80s. And then that whole statement to serve and protect is vague. Who are you serving and protecting? Or
Mm.
protecting and serving? All you have to do, and people say, well, different police departments take different oaths of service. Yes, that is true. But if you look at all the varied oath of service from the sheriff department to the highway patrol to the police department, they're all pretty much standard. They all use the same form, but they all do it based on the fact of that they're there to protect the agency that they serve, and that's not the community. The community is the buildings, the laws, the traffic laws, the moving violations. That's what they're there to protect and serve. To order, they're there to enact and exact order, and we're the enemies of that order. Why do
So
you need a SWAT team in freaking Orange County?
yeah,
For
it's
what?
true.
For what?
It's true.
Calling the National Guard, calling the FBI, calling somebody else. But the police are there to serve and protect us. Why do you have a National Guard against a citizen? It doesn't make any sense, But
No, you're absolutely right. And I mean, I know people keep making comments over the years about police state. This is what it's like to be in a police state and all that kind of stuff. And after a while, you're like, you know what? I think I even read something recently about how, who was it? It was that the military gives or sells at maybe even a discounted rate their old weapons to police departments.
yeah, I heard about that.
So if that's the
Yeah,
case, like,
talk
dude,
about that.
but
Yeah.
then again, what else would you do with it? I mean, I don't know. But if you're giving police departments military grade things, that's kind of scary for the average citizen. One of my favorite memes is something to the effect of, how do you expect trained officers to keep their calm, or to not keep their calm, but untrained citizens to keep their calm with a gun in their face? Does that make
You
sense?
can't.
Yeah.
Just like that video that just went out with that guy in Euclid, California, or Euclid, wherever, Euclid, New York, or Georgia,
Uh huh.
where the cop was telling the guy to put his hands up so he can handcuff him. The guy was on the ground on his back, and the police was on top of him on his chest, punching
Mm.
him in the face. And then he kept telling him, "Turn around, turn around, turn around." So the guy was like, "I can't. You're on me. How can I turn around?" So then they
Oh.
finally turned him around, and then he was like kind of contorted, and
Uh
then he kept saying, "Put your hands on your back." And then once the guy, big guy, like probably our size, no, it looked that way because the cops are probably small. But every time the guy put his hands behind his back, the police would hit him in his face. And
huh.
he was laying on the ground in the concrete, and he hit him, and you saw he hit him in the face like 2 times, like a 1-2 punch. But the guy's head was already on the ground, so you just felt his head just smacking the concrete, smacking the concrete. And the cop was like, I said, put your hands behind your back. And then he would punch him in his face the minute the guy moved his hands. So after the second time, he was like, bro, I'm not moving my hands. Like, my hands are going to protect my face. You're bashing my face in every second you get. And I'm like, so that's a peace officer? And
Yeah.
you have no idea how many times I heard the term peace officer online today from
Mm.
people's posts about the peace officer. That's a PR move.
Yeah. Just like the sides of the cars, protect and serve. That's kind of misleading, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a misleading PR move. Yeah, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
Unbelievable. Well, I found my favorite meme. It says, and I'm going to read it because I'm sure it looks backwards to the rest of you guys. We live in a world where trained cops can panic and act on impulse, but untrained civilians must remain calm with a gun in their face. That's a trip, man, because that is absolutely true. You just say, "Oh, just remain calm." I've never been taken to a class where I've been taught to stay calm with a gun in my face while someone's screaming at me, not only obscenities, but probably even racial epithets. So, yeah.
Well, see, that's another thing that we don't talk about, right? We don't talk about gun safety, gun training, right?
Hmm.
Like that's one thing. That's like sex ed in Christian churches. Like we don't talk about that. Like no abstinence. You know what
Right,
I mean?
right.
Like that's something you don't talk about.
Yeah, because
You
that's what
know,
everyone's
look, we
doing.
don't talk about that. You got pregnant. I don't know how you got pregnant. We don't talk about sex in our life. So you mean to tell me just because you don't talk about sex, you don't get pregnant? So gun safety should be taught at a very young age. How to act around a gun, how to be trained. Even those police officers don't have that training of how to, what happens, what kind of emotions go through you when someone sees a gun, when the gun is drawn, when the gun is present.
Right.
Like all those things should be taught from at a very young age. So, like not to bring up Ray Lewis again, but to be honest, like I kind of agree with Ray Lewis when he said, I don't think me kneeling is going to be effective. Like my form of, I get out and help police officers and I help the military and I do all this. I don't think kneeling is my form of service or my way of giving back or my protest. I'm doing this. So when somebody says gun violence, I don't think me giving up my gun, because that's coming in California. End of this year, if that law doesn't pass, handguns are going to be illegal in California. Like
Handguns?
illegal. Yeah, handguns, not shotguns, but handguns are going
Interesting.
to be illegal. Well, they're fighting it, but they tried to pass it last year, didn't get passed. But I think everyone's throwing everything out the window right now. But handgun's going to be illegal. So you mean to tell me somebody can't carry a handgun, but every criminal out here has a handgun, and once they know that nobody has a handgun, you can keep the guns you have, but they have to be registered. You have to register every gun you get. That's stupid. That doesn't make any sense. So my mind is warped when it comes to that. Gun safety is going off the deep end. It should start at a younger age. We should start over with our kids and stuff like that. Because you're right about that. You're right. Like you can't be calm with a gun in your face. You can't even be calm knowing there's a gun around.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a time, where was I? I was somewhere. I think I was at a friend's house, and it was just a BB gun. And one of the girls that was over there, I mean, it's literally it's a black BB gun, but it looked like a real gun. One of the girls just could not calm down with the gun in the room. Like, dude, it's not even real, and it's not facing anyone, and no one's holding it, no one's playing with it. It's just on the table, and
Yeah.
she couldn't chill.
She was
So
freaking out. Yeah.
yeah, so she had to um, take some ether to the face so she could calm down. Just kidding.
Yeah. No, I'm right. So I know you get this a lot. I know this is kind of off topic. Yeah, don't vote for Hillary because she'll take our guns. Yeah, funny. But yeah, but like I know you were talking about this before. You get this a lot. When you go in somebody's post and like, no, that's not right. Let's talk about the issues or what's real.
Hmm.
They jump right to attack, like ad hom attacks on you, and memes or gifs or middle fingers, and like you don't know what you're talking about, or they redirect the conversation.
Yeah.
How come it's so hard for somebody that says they're not racist? And I even want like white people that are listening to like chime in, that are not racist, or say they're not racist, to have that conversation. Like, how is that? Why is that so hard? Every time I have a conversation with somebody, like online on their Facebook page, so even somebody that I don't know, and they can't answer the question, they can't have a logical conversation, they jump right to attacks. Oh, you're calling me racist. Oh, well, just don't disrespect my flag. Well, just don't pray or just don't protest between that 4 or 5 minutes of the national anthem. Or, you know, you go back to Africa or whatever, get out or leave the country if you feel so disrespected. How come it's so hard to have a conversation? I don't get it. Why is it so hard for me to tell you I want to understand where you're coming from, but I want you to listen to me and understand where I'm coming from? I don't know why that's so hard.
Yeah, my buddy Kevin and I talked about this today, and I have to
Barry's
admit,
still taking it.
it was after I'd had a five. I probably only slept for about 4 or 5 hours. Had to go deal with clients today. Got into my car, driving to go get some Chinese food that I bought for you. That I bought for you.
You didn't even ask, bro. You know I don't eat meat, right?
Um,
You brought me
I,
some rice.
you're black. You eat everything.
I knew you were gonna say that. I
You
knew you were
people
gonna
eat
say
anything
that.
fried. Um, but
Some
I
rice,
was so
right?
tired, I fell asleep in the car while we were on the phone, and he's like, "Kingman, wake up, huh?" But anyway,
All right.
about the
Food
whole
coma.
he see Kevin's point was that I should stop deleting people that I'm sick of because there are people who could still be won over during these situations where conversations like this begin, right? But I say on a personal level, even though my page is not a personal page, it's more of a podcast page, right? There's not a whole lot of personal stuff that goes on here, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously personal thoughts, but that's about it. So uh, my thing was when people are so racist or just so obtuse and can't engage guys like Chris Garcia from wherever the fuck he was, Fontucky. Uh, when people are like that, I can't deal. I can't deal. Or if I tell you a personal story and you mock me, I'm
Yeah.
gonna punch you psychologically, right? I can't deal with that. But Kevin wants to be able to have conversation with people, more often when they disagree, so that way it's not like an internet thing back and forth. And I get where he's coming from, but that takes so long, and there's so many people, and you can't do it. So I think, and I told him at the conclusion of it, I said, ultimately, I blame the people who just can't have that conversation. When I say can't, I mean the ones that respond poorly. The ones that respond in all caps and threaten a race war. Those are the ones I'm
Yeah.
like, you know
Yeah.
what, I can't deal with you. Or the ones who left me a meme last year that said, it was a picture of like dead white guys in a field, and it said, these dead white guys fought against slavery too, or fought, for civil rights, and not one thank you for all the dead white people. And I was like, what? What are you?
And yeah, no, I had that conversation too with
Yeah.
somebody just yesterday. Had the conversation too. This is the same thing. I was like, okay, you realize that Memorial Day was started by black former slaves to thank the soldiers for fighting for them, right?
Mm.
That whole Memorial Day you celebrate was originated by black former slaves and their children marching through the streets of the South, celebrating the fact that you fought for their freedom.
I didn't know that.
So who's not thanking who? Like that blew my mind when like that conversation came up. I was like, so miss me with that conversation.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's just ultimately what it is that they don't know history. A lot of us don't know the history as well. Like I think I have heard that the Memorial Day was that before, but I don't remember who told me or how long I've known. But
Yeah, because it was contested a few times. It was fought back and forth, and then they count. Look, we have the proof right here. They even have photographs of it and memorial records of that.
yeah,
The Arlington Cemetery, where that's Memorial Day started at the Arlington Cemetery, and they started the cemetery and they marched, around the city or the towns or whatever that were still standing,
yeah,
you know. So they marched around there just to show the appreciation. They put ribbons on the graves, the unmarked graves and the marked graves. They did that. So, you know,
yeah.
you know. But to Andre's point about they're defending comfort, even if it's at the even if even if it's at your expense.
Yeah,
I agree that. Yeah,
it really
yeah,
is
I
that. I mean,
agree.
I really do think
Yeah,
there could be some great conversations, and there part of the reason why I may have said this before, that I do delete some of these people who are just complete assholes. I can't keep them because for people who are on the fringe and don't really know which way to go in terms of social justice, they don't have to become warriors, but at least understand and have empathy, right? As a human being, not as a Christian, not as a Muslim, not as a this or that, just as a human being. We're all human beings, right? Just have some compassion and some understanding for another person and their experience, and don't laugh at them or mock them because of their experience in America. Um, but my whole thing was that, I just lost my train of thought. Son of a bitch.
sorry.
Hold on, I think it was based on something someone said. It was, oh crap, I forgot. But anyway, yeah, people shouldn't people shouldn't do things like that, because that's, for people who are on the fringe, yeah, they end up
Yeah,
getting pushed to the other side, maybe because, um, I mean, it's the culture that they're raised in. So it's harder for me and people like you and Eric and Dre and Julian and Kevin and all those kind of people, Melissa and Effie's husband David, to convince or to talk to or to connect with people who are on the fringe that are still connected to the dirty parts of American culture, right? The racist parts of American culture. If they're still
yeah,
connected to that and still talking to people like that, then how can I? It's gonna make my job, your job, all of our jobs harder to connect with them if they're still doing that. So that's why I have to delete people. Like, no, you can't come in here. Go hang out at Breitbart on the corner, but you can't come in here at KJ's factory, chocolate factory.
right, right,
Let me get a tweet. Sorry,
right.
chocolate factory.
You had to throw that in there though. But no, I agree with you 100%. Like one of the like it's a realtor on Facebook that's she's so far off the deep end that I think she's actually trolling, but I can't tell. But I kind of like call her out on something to push her to the edge, but I can't tell if she's trolling. But because she actually believes her BS. But we were going back. We weren't going backwards. She was going back and forth with somebody that wasn't as knowledgeable as us, and he was getting destroyed in this like chain.
Yeah,
So it just came to bickering and fighting, and you're racist, and you're black BLM sympathizer, and da da da. It was back and forth in that. So I like interjected myself in this conversation. I was like, look, you have no fight with her. You made your point with her, and you told her exactly how you feel to the point where you're blue in the face. Now all you have to do is say, look, she's one of the ones that are not going to be reached. You can go have a dialogue with somebody that can be reached. Like you said, the people on the fringe.
yeah,
You can go have a dialogue with somebody you can reach. Leave her alone. And then she's like, well, why don't you guys deal with black on black crime? Of course, I destroyed that argument. And like all of her comments and all the other comments had like 92 likes and 50 chains on them, and none on mine, like none. It was just like 2 or 3 likes from the people that agree with me, but no like comments because it just was straight facts.
you're
And
right.
then um, the next change she said something about, well, why don't you guys just do something about it? All this kneeling is doing nothing. Why don't you guys do something about it? And I was like, well, case in point, a police chief in New York, the former ADA, the former Surgeon General, Malcolm Jenkins from the NFL, and numerous other countless players, Michael Bennett, are already in the Senate right now, joining with the ACLU, fighting our old laws by using case law to destroy this current administration's downward cycle. They're already doing that. We set the ground rules to the ground rules, the Marines, to bust through that to make people aware, but they're already doing that on the back ends. They're already in Supreme Court in Washington fighting the good fight. They're already doing that. I'm sorry for you, but we're doing this to identify who you are. That's what I told her in the post. I said we're more to make a long story short. If you can't be reached, now it's us making a mental note, identifying who you are, that
Yeah,
you're one of those ones that we know where to put you. You're in that category, so we're gonna leave you there. And then after like five or 5 hours of her not responding, she finally said, "You." This was her comment, bro. We have to talk about this too. I want everybody on here to talk about this. I'm gonna post it. I think I did post it. No, I don't think I posted hers, but her comment was her response, her reply to my comment was, "You work for yourself, don't you? You don't work for anybody." Because I put her in her place and I told her what we're doing and I told her who she really is.
Mm.
I didn't sugarcoat it. I didn't throw ad hom attacks on her or anything like that. I basically laid it out like you're one of those ones that I don't care how much money you are, who you are, how rich you are. But I know she has some money. She knows Led Zeppelin and all these people. Like she posts pictures with them on her page all the time.
Yeah.
So I told her she's nobody, bro. She's nobody. We're already fighting a good fight. Those racist ones that are left on the fringe are going to be left there on the fringe once we get rid of all of their people that are in Washington, ousting those senators, those racist ones that are hiding behind their sheets and their hoods. They're going to be out of here. This new generation coming up is not going to have what we had. They're going to have a solid political base to know how to maneuver government and to take over government. White, black, brown, it doesn't matter. They're going to join together to change this government for real. And her response was, "You must be self-employed. You don't work for anybody, do you?"
How can she tell? Like,
because of what I said. You got to think about that. What is she really trying to say? Is that hidden that dog whistle? Huh?
Like you're too smart?
No. She's trying to say that I don't work for a white man. I don't work for white people that can fire me for things I'm saying. I'm not sugarcoating what I'm trying to say.
Oh, I see. I didn't want to go there.
She's trying to say you think you work for yourself, so you don't have any fear about what you say.
That's funny because I don't
gave you a compliment.
And I work for white people all the time. I actually made sure to take off my shirt because it had my school on it, and I'm like, I'll be damned if I have my school on here while I talk shit about America. So I changed shirts. Look at that. There's no logo here.
And I'm repping a national football team.
The Bears are take a knee. Take a knee.
Right. And then she was like, "Well, taking a knee doesn't hurt anything. Why are these NFL players taking a knee?" And I had to break it down to her. They work in the NFL. That's their job. Mm-hmm. They go to work every day in this field to provide for their families. So them taking a knee on their job is them saying that we need equality and this is my way of getting the message out. Walking away from their job and quitting their job doesn't get their message out.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I mean, I'm going to be realistic. It doesn't get the message out.
No.
If no other NFL player takes a knee, I'm happy with that. The message is out. Now we can have the conversation.
Yep.
And I was telling people, don't be like everyone else. They're burning Kaepernick jerseys, burning, Marshawn Lynch jerseys, and I was like, you already paid for that jersey, right?
I know.
They already made their money. You burning it is stupid. You sell it to somebody else, make your money, and get rid of it. Like economics, people, economics.
Hey, bro, white privilege. They had enough money already.
See, and that's another thing I was gonna say, but I'm like, I'm gonna say that one.
Hey, I work for the white man, but I ain't scared. I ain't the nothing but truth, dog. You can't get mad at me for saying the truth. I didn't say anything negative.
Right.
Ain't nothing negative.
Right, Julian. Yeah, Julian was like, the message is out, exactly. But you saw, we could talk about this next week. We're gonna talk about it now and wrap up. But that restaurant. Did you see that post on Facebook about the restaurant?
The restaurants in the South that are closing or not showing football?
No. The one he put a Marshawn Lynch and a Kaepernick jersey.
Oh yes, Lynch Kaepernick jerseys on the floor. Yes.
Yeah, as a doormat. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that shit. I thought it was because Dre posted it earlier. Dre, if you're still out there, wake up. Dre posted it earlier, and I said at the least, it's historically ignorant because you can't put those two words together in this context and pretend like you didn't really know what you were doing. I didn't buy that. But yes, Kim, there are sports bars out there that aren't going to play football games. I think they're down in the South. I saw an SI report earlier that had like 7 or 8 names. No big restaurants. I mean, these are like mom and pop ones, so there's nothing to really scoff or nothing to really look at about that. So, are you driving? Where are you going? Oh, okay. Anyway, so yeah, Kim, don't trip, Kim. You're not going to miss anything out here in Orange County. There's plenty of games to watch somewhere. Um, but I wanted to. I know you got to. I know you want to go home because it's almost 10 o'clock for you. Do you want to do? I want to do 2 more things. I want to talk about my long post that got shared like 7 times. I'm trying to go viral, bro.
Nice, nice. Which one?
It was the one where I said. I think it was the one I posted last night. Shit, where did it go? Hold on. Oh, they said get over slavery, but never forget 9/11. Did you see that
I
one?
didn't see that one.
Are you serious right now?
I didn't see that one.
It says I posted it last night at 7 o'clock. It was supposed to get posted at like 3 o'clock, 3:30, but for some reason it didn't post. So 4 hours later, here I am. All right, so I'll read it to you and I'll read it to everybody else. It says they said get over slavery, but never forget 9/11. The same ones who voted for Trump and still trust him. They believe in protected free speech of Nazis and KKK, but feel Cap's silent protest is too much. They still wave the Confederate flag, claiming heritage while ignoring our heritage and ignoring the hypocrisy of their supposed patriotism. They love the Second Amendment, but a black man with a gun is a thug that needs to be shot. They saw children like Tamir Rice and Trayvon as needed deaths and cried foul over the arrested nurse. They don't know who Dylan Roof is and can't understand white privilege. They aren't scared of random white folks in movie theaters, schools, and office buildings, but fear black teens who look menacing, in quotation marks. They are supposed to be my Christ-following brothers and sisters, but would rather stand up for a flag than for human life. On the flip side, the others were quiet then and didn't get involved. They are still quiet. Try to be on the right side of history this time, not the white side. Hashtag know your role. Hashtag take a knee. Hashtag KJ from OC.
That escalated fast.
That's 38 likes, 6 shares. And
mic drop.
Yeah. I actually wrote that Wednesday night, like at 3 a.m, because I was like, oh, this is going to be good. And I saved it so that way I could have it for the next day. Because I actually do kind of post, not this, it might seem sporadic, but a lot of them have actually been planned out on how I'm going to do it and when I'm going to do it. Like I advertise our show the day of, so that way people see it more fresh than if I advertise it Monday, you know. But anyway, so in that, one person responded with almost like a, why'd you say white? Why'd you say white side of history or whatever? And I don't think she understood what it was I was saying. It wasn't all white people or anything like that. It was about the white opposition that we have faced. And it becomes like this all lives matter kind of thing where it's like, that's not what it is. But in my response, I'm like, it's not Mexicans we were facing as we were getting, you know, chased down the street by cops and dogs with water hoses and stuff like that in the 60s. It wasn't the Chinese who enslaved us. It, you know, in America, it wasn't, you know, the Arabs who were doing this thing or that thing. Like it was white opposition. It's not Arabs, you know, who were mad at us for kneeling during the national anthem. I'm like, this is literally a white opposition. So I'm going to call it out as it is. And it's not intended to be disrespectful toward every white person because not every white person is doing this. So it's not for them to get their feelings hurt. It's not about them. But that's part of what a lot of folks do. And I said, that's called white tears. And I can't have any sympathy for white tears because you made it about you when it wasn't about you to begin with, when the whole point and the whole topic was bigger than you. And it was bigger than me. And I didn't make it about me. I made it about the topic. But you made it about you, which in a sense is a smaller version of white supremacy. My feelings are more important than your cause. Really?
Yeah.
You
Can I
know, I
can
know
I
she.
play devil's advocate?
Huh?
No, no, go ahead. Sorry. Sorry,
Oh,
go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I know she didn't mean it that way, but it was just one of those. She was basically saying, I feel kind of put out by the final statement. She's like, I don't disagree with everything that you said. She's like, I just kind of feel put out by the final statement. But it took another white woman to say, like, this is what white privilege is, and like explaining things to her because she's older and she could explain it, and I guess had some more understanding of things. So she might be able to explain it from a perspective that I don't have as a white woman because I'm not a white woman, and I can't
Yeah.
explain it to a white woman as a white woman because I'm not one. So for one to explain it to another one, it was like perfect. You guys, I don't want to say you guys speak the same language, but you get my point. It's kind of just like, you know, you're older than she is, and maybe you both are
Yeah.
from California, I think it was. So she might be able to speak to her from her own experiences and relate to certain things that I couldn't relate to, you know, as a white person. What were you gonna say?
No, I was laughing at Dre's thing. He said hit dogs holler. I love that.
Oh, what does that mean?
Hey, hit dogs holler. If it hits home, if you know the shoe fits, basically.
Oh,
You know,
oh, I
you
see.
gotta
Hit
you gotta
dogs.
dial,
I'm thinking hot
gotta
dogs. Bro.
dial.
I'm so hungry.
he said, he said hot dog, hot dog.
Yeah.
No, but I want to play devil's advocate to that. I want to play
No.
devil's advocate to what you just said about
No.
about white tears and like this is a white people problem, like a white problem.
Uh.
It's true. On the flip side, when black people holler racism at everything or play the black card or the race card at everything,
Mm-hmm.
it's the total opposite. That this is it's an American problem. It's an American problem. So being an American problem, what I'm trying to say is when you say when she got mad about that or when something happens, black people we cry racism or that person being racist or I can't get ahead because I'm black or whatever, we lump all of them to one thing is because we have to realize one thing. We have to be retrained for one thing, and I had to retrain my thinking as a kid till now. It took me like 15 years to understand that it's a green problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a black or white or brown problem. It's a green problem. And you know what book really turned me around is the book Dirty Wars, a book about every war that happened in U.S. soil since the Civil War,
Okay.
actually before the Civil War, and they broke down the meaning of every war. It was not about people. It was not about taking land. It was not about you disrespecting me. You stepped on my toes. All of them had a monetary motive behind every single war.
Mm.
So race, there's a monetary motive behind race. Period. Behind race. Period. If there was no monetary gain in racism, there would be no racism.
Yeah.
You think about that. There would be none. Like, I get on people's posts all the time and challenge them. If slavery wasn't about free labor, there would be no slavery. Like there wouldn't have been slavery in America. If it wasn't for, you know, having a reason to capture Japanese and Chinese or immigrants that were here in the United States legally to build the railroads, if we had the railroads already built, there was no reason to put them in concentration camps to
Mm.
build the railroad.
Yeah.
It was all monetary. It wasn't because you feared this Japanese man who contributes to society, pay taxes, lived to all of his life. His kids go to American schools. You take them out of their homes and put them in concentration camps, and then 2 days later, oh, we have an idea. Let them build the railroads. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the bigger picture. If we all, as Americans, looked at the bigger picture, that is green, that is all the mighty dollar that's influencing all of this, then we'll see past all of it. Still, we have to let people get out of their white privilege and get out of their their black fog, as I call it, black fog.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's true. But if we saw the green, that if everything's green, yeah, the book is called Dirty Wars. Um, yeah, like if we get past that and know that everything's green, then we unify ourselves as Americans and we can see why is it government and green too big to fail. We could break that down and we see that it's all monetary. Think about it like this: India India's whole political and socio-economic system is based on color.
Oh yeah, the
You
caste
know
system.
that, right?
Yeah, the caste system.
The caste system. That boggles my mind as Americans, but then we hide it under so many different things. It's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Their whole caste system politically and socio-economically is based on the color of your skin. And they're fine with that. And they talk about it. Indian comedians talk about it all the time. About, oh yeah, this and that, this and that. It's all about the color of their skin. Their whole system is based on that. You're dark, so you can't attain to this status of power or wealth because you're dark. That should blow our mind, and it's commonplace for them.
Yeah. I
No, Andre's right. Like slave owners were compensated for lost slaves. If slavery was illegal when it ended, all of those slave masters that were alive after the Civil War should have went to jail.
mm,
Jail, prison, or execution, but they didn't. The ones that were alive got paid out from these insurance companies that are still around today. Prudential, Wells Fargo was an insurance company back then. A lot of these other companies, MetLife, they were around back then. They got paid out for loss of property. Economic bailout. He's right. They all got paid. They didn't go to jail.
it's interesting because it still reminds me of that lady. I think it was one of the managers or one of the big heads. I think of Wells Fargo last year. After all those fake accounts went out, and and they got caught and had to reimburse a whole bunch of money. She I think embezzled all that money that that they gained from those accounts and then retired or quit, resigned. Like, wait, shouldn't she
Yeah.
go to prison for really? That's not just like
Prison.
breaking company codes. That's not like stealing some pens. This is bigger than pens, bruh.
Right? You didn't steal some boxes on your lunch break. Like, seriously.
But
You
hey,
you
what?
took people's livelihoods away.
But I think that goes with white privilege and just the green in America. I mean, it would look really bad to start jailing bankers, even if they did, no matter what they did wrong. Like, well, we need them because this country with capitalism is not going to work without bankers, big banks, right? We'll just give that lady can have enough money that's really a football player's contract for one season. She can keep that money, and big deal to Wells Fargo. They're going to move on, and people still have
Yeah.
accounts over there. Big deal, and I'm sure they remade their money within a few days or within a few weeks or months, whatever, and no problems, no problems. But I want to
That's
cover a couple
true.
other things. I know you want to get going soon. I want to do the. Do you want to touch on the Vanessa thing that she posted, just regarding just the recap of how Kaepernick had come to take a knee as opposed to? I mean, I know we've covered Kaepernick for a long time, but basically, well, I guess I'll cover it real quick, and then we'll get into the questions.
Yeah.
That
Oh yeah.
okay?
Cover it. No, cover it.
All
That
right.
was one of the main ones you wanted to talk about. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So she said she just spent 20 minutes confirming this to be true, and this was posted by a friend of hers. She says never heard the full story when everything started heating up last year. This gives the situation much more perspective. Shared from a friend's page after verifying the facts. The backstory to taking a knee. It is definitely well worth reading. This is from both sides of the coin. We must begin to listen, understand both sides. All right, August 14, 2016. Kaepernick sits for the national anthem and no one notices. Okay? August 20th, 2016. This is preseason. Collins sits again and again, no one notices. The 26th, Collins sits again, and this time he is met with a level of vitriol. I'm going to say the 14th, 2016. Hold on, I'm going to look on the calendar because I'm going to try to see if I have I have an idea in my head that says when those dates were, as far as like prime time. Go to date.
Yeah.
08, 2016. Let's see. The 14th was a Sunday. The 20th was a Saturday. The 26th was a Friday. Okay. Might have been the only game on TV at the time, but I was thinking it was going to be a primetime game. like a Monday night game or something like that. But I know they don't have Monday night games in preseason, so never mind. I was wrong. Okay. Kaepernick sits, and he's met with level of vitriol unseen against any athlete. Even the future president of the U.S. took shots at him while on the campaign trail. Then on August 30th, which was 4 days later, Nate Boyer, a former Army Green Beret turned NFL long snapper, penned an open letter to the NFL, to Colin in the Army Times, and he expressed how he felt Colin's sitting affected him. So, in the letter, Mr. Boyer writes, "I'm not judging you for standing up." I'm going to only just read a couple pieces of this. For standing up for what you believe in, it's your inalienable right. What you are doing takes a lot of courage, and I'd be lying if I said I knew what it was like to walk around in your shoes. I've never had to deal with prejudice because of the color of my skin. And for me to say I can relate to what you've gone through is as ignorant as someone who's never been to a combat zone telling me that they understand what it's like to go to war. Skip. Mr. Boyer goes on to write, there are already plenty of people fighting fire with fire. It's not going to help anyone, so I'm just going to keep listening with an open mind. Oh, wait, did I skip too far? No, I didn't. Kaepernick reciprocated. Colin invited Nate to a San Diego game where the two had a 90-minute discussion, and Nate proposed Colin kneel instead of sit. But why kneel? In a military funeral, after the flag is taken off the casket of a fallen military member, it is smartly folded 13 times, like the stars of the first flag, and then presented to the parent, spouse, or child of the fallen member by a fellow service member while kneeling. The two decided that kneeling for the flag would symbolize his reverence for those that paid the ultimate sacrifice while still allowing Colin to peacefully protest the injustices he saw. So he's now acknowledging two things. He's not acknowledging like, hey, dude, fallen soldiers, I'm acknowledging you guys for kneeling. I'm kneeling and acknowledging you. And then number two, I'm still not going to stand anyway because I don't want to say the national anthem for this country that allows these things to happen to my people. So it's two things that he's basically kneeling for, essentially, but really it's like, I'm going to appease one side while still doing my protest. And so this whole thing of disrespect to the military, disrespect this, disrespect that, it's all just out the window. Yeah, it's gone. It's not even true. And we forgot. I mean, I even saw the video last night. I watched it last night. And then I sent it to my buddy Kevin, I think. Kevin, did I send it to you last night? Are you still awake, buddy? Or did I send it to you, Tyrone? I don't remember. But
no, not
basically, it was Nate Boyer was watching this, said the same thing in this interview with Brian Gumbel. Let me see. Here it is, 2:28 a.m. Boy, I was up late. Let me see here. Here it is.
I remember that thing vividly, though. Like, vividly. I remember his whole stance. Like it was on, no, but right, it was on national TV. Yeah.
American flag of one of our brothers, and I just couldn't stop looking at Staff Sergeant Thompson's wife and just seeing the grief and the pain. And I got filled with rage for anybody that disrespects what we are fighting for and what we stand for. And I showed Colin that text, and at that moment, you know, I saw in his eyes, they kind of like, it really affected him, you know, emotionally, and it had a big impact on his next words, which were, I want to do something different. And we sort of came to a middle ground where he would take a knee alongside his teammates. Soldiers take a knee in front of a fallen brother's grave, you know, to show respect. He said, I think that would be really powerful. And, you know, he asked me to do it with him, and I said, look, I'll stand next to you. I got to stand, though. I got to stand with my hand on my heart. It's just what I do and where I'm from.
And see, I look at that video, I listen to what he said, and I listen to also what he wrote. And I would say, you know, with what he wrote, I would sit with him too. Like, okay, let's chat and let's make sure that you guys understand I'm not taking a shit on the flag or anything like that, but I am standing up for what I believe in. What do you think about that? You crying?
I remember that vividly. I remember it vividly, bro.
Yeah.
Vividly. And every time it comes up, I'm like, no, he did kneel because of Boyer, because of his conversation with a freaking Navy SEAL. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. And people just fail to just open up their eyes. It's common knowledge. It's research. No one's doing the research.
None. And that's
It's the
why.
Fox News effect.
That's why what?
It's the Fox News effect.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm sorry, I'm like not trying to be all crazy, like bring up Fox News because they have nothing to do with what we're talking about. But it is a Fox News effect because the simple fact is they put out those keywords, those talking points, and then everybody just regurgitates those talking points over and over again until their point is made. But nobody does the research. That's like going to church and never reading your Bible and just listening to what the preacher says, and he throws false words in there, and you just go by it just because no one's doing the research.
Yeah. This is Dre said, I explained the fact the knee salutes deceased military personnel a million times in caps, and is the compromise Nate Boyer proposed and Colin took the knee instead of sitting. Each time I brought this up, not a single response to it, much less an acknowledgement. The latest was yesterday where a high school friend was going VAVK, back and forth with her friend. I explained this and her friend never responded to it. It's It's people don't want to know why, they just want you to stop.
Dre's right. I've seen some of those posts on the net where he responded because like some of the pages or whatever. I see his posts, and I'm like, but it's right there. Respond to it. Say something. They're like, nope, we're just gonna not even answer him because he's speaking too real right now. Like they will ignore his posts. I see you, Dre. I see you.
To pretend it doesn't exist,
Yeah. I think people keep pulling up in this parking lot I'm in because it's so dark and it faces the freeway. To like make out, because I see like a car pull up and they're there for like 20 minutes and then the windows get foggy and then they pull off.
I used to do that Saddleback College, dude, but it wasn't making out. Ow.
It's funny because they pull up on the side of the trash can, and they think like I can't see them, and I'm like back here so I can see them.
Yeah.
And then like after 20 minutes, they're like, "Oh crap, I think somebody can see us." So they see like the lights and all that. So like,
that's think so I'm Popo funny
or something. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interject, but
no, it's fine. It's funny. Wow, this is funny. Dre saying, I issued a rebuke to a friend of a mutual. She called it blasphemy. I outlined what Boyer did, who he was, Green Berets, and why. She never responded. So civilians are taking it personally, while military who understand it and remember everything and just know things aren't taking it personal. But it's just, I don't know. Civilians sometimes say too much and really don't know what the hell they're talking about. So anyway, whatever. Last thing, and then you can go get on the road, is the question. Oh, did you want to talk about the freestyle that you sent me? That freestyle, loaded Lux?
Bro, I don't know if they're ready for that. That's like an hour discussion.
Yeah, that was intense, man. I could tell when he stopped reciting lines and when he started freestyling off the top of his head. I was like, I see the decline, but he was still doing his thing. I wasn't mad at him.
No, I saw the decline when he started talking about like Jay-Z after he said the 2 twos and 22 twos. I know if you multiply 2 by 22, you get 444, and then he freestyled after that.
Yeah. It was good. Oh man,
Kimberly, I'm the same way. I'm the same way. Like I can trace my military family back to freaking American Revolution. Like I've done the work, and a lot of my family, like on certain sides, I'm not gonna say what side, still think it's disrespectful as well. But I told them about Nate Boyer and about all this, and they came around. If I like have a real conversation with them, they really came around. You should try that with your family. Sit them down, show them. Don't say it to them. She said, "Why are they so dumb? Don't say it to them, Kimberly." Look at you. You must work. You work for yourself, don't you, brother? No, right? Work for white women.
I do.
So Kimberly, don't tell him. I didn't tell him. I just showed him like the video from Nate. I showed them the video, his own words, the clip, his own words. I should show them the video. That would have worked better. But
Yeah.
his own words. Show them the video. Let them look at it for themselves and show them the video so they can see. Like, didn't you do this? Have you ever went to a fallen soldier comrade's funeral? Didn't you do this? This is what it's all about. If you show them that, they have no clue but to be like, fall in line. Okay, it makes sense now. But
because they're going to have to acknowledge, and that's the things I think a lot of people don't want to acknowledge is oppression in America. Because even that dude Chris Garcia, when I mentioned Colin is protesting oppression in America, people who are oppressed, he says, you know, he asked me a stupid question. Are you oppressed? Are you still a slave? Wait, I never said I was. I never said I was. So why are you turning this about me? Oh, because you're making this whole thing about you. So of course, let's make it about me and make it extra personal when it's not personal. He's such a tard. By the way, everyone, I just posted on my wall the Nate Boyer and Colin Kaepernick Real Sports clip I just played. So if any of your family or friends or ex-family or anyone you want to troll on the internet needs to watch something for a minute and a half of what Nate Boyer and Colin came to an agreement upon last year, then you guys can go ahead and grab that. It's on YouTube, but I just posted it on my wall just now, so you guys can go ahead and grab that. But now it's the final section of the KJ from OC podcast featuring Tyrone. And this is the Ask Me Anything section, and I'm going to let you guys ask me and or Tyrone a question, and then we're going to go to the peanut gallery where we have some questions already lined up from Kim, from Jamie Orger from Minnesota, and someone else posted a question earlier too. I forget who it was. I think it was just those two. Yeah, it was just those two. So if anyone has a question they want to ask live right now, feel free to type that in. If you want to ask Tyrone when baseball should put up a net so more kids don't get hit. Dude, I was almost in tears when I saw that. I was like, oh my God.
Did you see the clip?
Yeah.
Did you see the clip when they showed all of them from like last 10 years or whatever?
No, I didn't.
They did a clip, bro. They did a clip with like a bunch of them, like over 40 of them. I watched that clip. By like 10 minutes in, I was like, I turned it off. Yeah.
It was hitting kids or like regular people or?
No, just anybody. They were just getting blasted by broken bats, balls, foul balls over the net, like everything.
And you know, that story's pretty much dead now, right? Like, it's been, what, 5-6 days? Everyone's taking a knee, and the president's calling people sons of bitches, and no one's helping out Puerto Rico. All right. Guess we're done with the whole baseball thing. Kind of. Well, whatever. All right.
No, I never heard about that. About Sia's question?
About what?
Julian's question about the Antifa.
Okay, have you heard anything about the Antifa ones that were arrested in the riots being from the Ukraine? I have not. Nothing surprises me. Was talking to Kevin earlier. I mean, when I talked to Kevin, we're talking for like 3 or 4 hours at least because it's just we have so much to talk about. But he was saying that there were undercover cops or off-duty cops or what have you who were pretending to be part of Black Lives Matter and starting the riots and starting to incite things. So to hear that people who are from Antifa or Antifa, whatever, being from the Ukraine, another country that really has nothing to do with what we're doing over here, it wouldn't surprise me. I know that I'm pretty sure that politics is really, really dirty. So to know that, you know, somebody might hire somebody to do something, do a job. I mean, it's like the mob, right? You got a mob hit. You got your goons, right? You got your goons in what is that, in hockey? I'm sure you got your goons in football, guys who are gonna go, you know, deliver a hit like maybe back in the day they used to, but maybe not anymore. But still, just I'm sure there are goons for politics as well. Have you heard anything about that, T?
Yeah, I'm a you know this, Kate. You know I'm a conspiracy theorist to the ninth degree. But I don't just spew my stuff out without having some sort of like basis. Like I subscribe to the law. You have to have at least 5 or 7, um, proof, or proof or connections or whatever.
Yeah.
But to monitor the threat, you're right, Eric. That is true. But what Julian was saying basically about the rise being from Ukraine, I think it was more or less like undercover, not double agents, but undercover agents trying to push an agenda, way to that end to change the narrative, you know. And
Yeah.
again, it's for monetary reasons. But that leads me to bring up something else we should put on the docket for the next coming weeks. That I honestly, and people might log off after they hear me say this, but I honestly believe that they're undercover cops, CIA or FBI, or hired guns that are perpetuating those murder rate and numbers in Chicago, the Chicago killing. I, I, I'm from Chicago. My family's from Chicago. I'm telling you right now, like I know people that are, right wing Chicago, left wing Chicago, people that are involved in the drug trade, selling drugs, people that are, studious, hardworking, tax-paying citizens, which most of the drug dealers I know are tax-paying as well. So that's another story. But but for me to say this, all of them think the same way. Why are these kids killing each other? People will say it's over drugs. They're drug dealers. They're doing this. The drug game in Chicago dried up 10 years ago, bro. 10 years ago. They're in the inner city of Chicago. The crack cocaine isn't like that, bro. It's not the 80s. It's not 85, 89 anymore. It's not like that. The price of cocaine has went up 200 to 300%. These little boys can't afford to pay $25, $35, $38,000 for a key of cocaine. They can't even afford to get fronted that. Do you think they're fighting over that?
Right.
The biggest money maker them is doing music, selling music and selling drugs in white neighborhoods in Chicago, going north side, going deep west side, selling pills, meth, codeine. That's what they're doing. That's what they're selling. I really think the killings and the murder has a lot to do with police officers, not police, but undercover, infiltrators, CIA, FBI, whoever you want to put into it, hired by the Koch brothers to infiltrate them and skew those murder rate numbers and killing these people. Because you remember for 2 years at that time, only people that or the majority of people that were dying was famous people's relatives. You remember that?
No.
13 to 15? You got Jennifer Hudson, her family members died. Dwayne Wade, his family members died. Minister Louis Farrakhan, he had family members, grandkids of his that got shot and died. They were only famous people were dying, famous people relatives that shine light on what's going on there to make it be like, oh, Chicago's an epidemic. Right around the time that Obama got elected, you're gonna say it. I know, it's the black guy, but to make it seem like he couldn't take care of what's going on in his own city, and doing that,
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put that out there, but I have a lot more research to do. I'm putting together a lot of numbers, but they're not dying over drugs, bro. Drug game is dried up in Chicago, dried up.
Interesting. And the funny thing is too, is every time someone says, "What about Chicago?" there's this automatic assumption that all the crime in Chicago is associated with black people, or all the murders in Chicago is associated with black people. And I don't think that's the truth, as it never is anyway. It just becomes a part of what people say. I mean, the murder rate in Chicago, but it never specifies white, black, Latino, Arab, Asian. It's just like murder rate in Chicago. You think niggas, and they talk about the Cabrini Greens with motherfucking Candyman. Like, come on. Maybe Candyman's responsible for some of that shit.
Yeah, you brought up a great point, Cabrini Green. There are no projects. Who's gathering and shooting up stuff? There are no projects in Chicago. All those people got forced out to go to the south side, to the suburbs, to Pill Hill, K-Town. They live in West Side. They live over there now. They go to the north side to sell drugs. All these young boys making all this money you see holding money stacks a year, they're
Uh-huh.
selling pills. They're selling meth. They're selling pills. They're selling heroin. They go to the north side. They go downtown, sell their drugs, get money, and
So they're
come back
selling
home.
drugs basically to white kids.
100%.
Or the affluent, at least.
100%. Like, at
Wow.
least, well, good percentage. I'm not going to throw it out there, but,
Right.
But,
Interesting. Well, Julian says here.
Police aren't even busting kids for weed possession anymore in Chicago.
Yeah,
So why are they killing each other? You can smoke weed for free. You can go to the north side, sell drugs, and come back and spend that money and buy you a car, buy your mom a house. Why are they killing each other? They're living it up.
Yeah. I remember watching some video last year.
Instagram and Facebook beef.
Where these
They're
guys
beefing on Instagram and Facebook. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I remember watching this video last year where these guys were in Chicago listening to music in a car. And then, I don't know, like, it was weird because there was 3 guys, and one of them in the front seat, in the passenger seat, kept, like, looking around. I'm like, why are they looking around? Where are they? Are they in a bad part of town? And if you are, why the hell you parked there? Listening to music for no reason. Like, what are you waiting for? All the questions kind of come up. Like, why are you being sketchy? And all of a sudden, like 10, 20 minutes into the video, it was a Facebook Live video, they get shot at, or at least shot, because the phone falls, and you hear people like trying to run and continue to get shot. And I forget why I brought that up, but I totally forget why I brought that up. Shit. Oh, I hate when I do that, man.
Was the neighborhood wasn't a bad neighborhood?
You couldn't tell because all you could see was just them in the car, but it was just one of those things. Like maybe because of that video, people are also continuing to think like, oh, look, Chicago's bad. These guys got shot randomly. Oh, you don't know who shot at them. That's what it was. You don't know who it was. It could have been cops in broad daylight. It could have been the PO who had the gun out and snuck up on them and pop, 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 pop. We have no idea. But the idea is, look, gangsters attack them. How do you know? You have no idea. You don't see anyone other than the 3 guys that were in the car. So we have no idea if Chicago is as crazy as it really is, Chirac and all that shit. How are black people getting guns in Chicago anyway? Is it the illegal is it illegal gun trade? Is there something else going on? Is it, I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but it sure makes it sound like it's easy to get guns in Chicago and everyone can start killing each other.
Okay, there's an armory in Indiana, an armory in Chicago, and a lot of the old guns are being transported by train. So back in the day, when I was a little kid, all the Hoover Crips and the Hoover gangsters and all that used to rob trains and get guns. Like, I gotta know that for facts. For a fact, they used to rob trains and get guns.
Well,
so that's possible.
Touche then.
But a lot of these boys are getting guns because they can afford to buy them on the black market.
Yeah.
You know who still runs the gun trade in Chicago, don't you? The Italians.
I was going to say the mafia.
They run the gun trade in Chicago. You can get guns. That's not a problem.
Eric says only certain guns are banned, too. Which could be going back to like what you said.
Well, yeah, shotguns are not banned because the idea of that shotguns aren't as dangerous because it takes a long time to load it, to shoot it, and after you shoot once, you have to reload it again. That's the government's thing with guns. The government's thing with guns is that you can't kill a lot of people with a shotgun because it takes so long to reload it. So that's
right. It's like having a musket and going to war. Like, really? Let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, we killed that long time ago, like 2 years ago. I think Kingman did too with the whole, guns are banned in Chicago. Are gun laws in Chicago are so strict. So how come people are dying? Because a driver's license doesn't keep you from getting drunk and getting behind the wheel and killing someone.
Mm.
A license doesn't help. You need a license to drive. You need insurance in your car. So what is a piece of paper going to stop you from killing someone just because you got a gun license?
Yeah. There's a lot of ways.
My permit to carry doesn't keep me from killing someone.
Nope.
That just makes you find me easy if I do it.
Glass bottles can do the trick. Right? Broken glass bottle to the jugular. Shit. All right, we don't
Yep,
have any questions in the peanut gallery in here, do we?
people are trying to get some sleep.
Probably. All right, so we're gonna go to the three questions we got from I think it was from two from Jamie and one from Kim earlier. Jamie says, okay, if I can't watch live, can I drop my question here? Absolutely. Genuine question here. She says, although it may sound sarcastic, how is taking a knee more offensive to the flag than the fact that we are doing basically nothing to help Puerto Rico? They are citizens. Instead of crying about people taking a knee, why don't they show their true patriotism and help out their fellow citizens? That's true. Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory like Samoa, and what else is a U.S. territory? Virgin Islands, British Islands, Virgin Islands.
Guam.
Right, Guam. You know why? Because we were France. You know, we are this, we are that, but we're never brown people, are we?
Yeah, that's right.
So racism? Is that my dog whistle? But I kind of think it's true, though.
I think for the president, Puerto Rico, Philippines still? I thought Philippines are independent now. I don't know. That's my thing. I don't know. I'm
maybe.
guessing. But
I'll look it up. Go ahead.
Yeah, June's asking Philippines, but I think Puerto Rico is 100% that article you posted. I think it was you or somebody posted today about the fact that, you know, he stiffed Puerto Rico for $33 million with that failed golf course. Cost the taxpayers there, all that money, ruined their economy by that golf course and that land that he bought and didn't build on it, and and then he filed bankruptcy in 2015, right before he started running for president, to be washed from that.
Oh,
so
wow.
He knows that he started talking about Puerto Rico, that's going to come up. So that probably is the reason why Puerto Rico hasn't came up in his mind.
Interesting.
To the unlearned out there, the vote to annex Puerto Rico out of having American benefits and American laws goes to the Senate. Every Senate vote every year.
Okay.
They say Puerto Rico's collecting welfare. Puerto Ricans, they don't even have to. They pay taxes. They pay taxes into our system, but they don't get a say in the vote of who becomes president.
That's interesting.
But they pay taxes.
That doesn't make any sense why they should and not be included. I mean, we don't need to have 54 states or whatever, but so what if we do?
But they pay taxes. They pay a tariff. They pay a tariff and they pay taxes, but they don't have a say in our elections.
Yeah.
But all in all, they have just as much rights as we do. They get to come here, live it up, do their thing, go back there, back and forth, whatever they want. But if you think about it, what benefits the president or the Senate from talking about Puerto Rico? Nothing.
Exactly. Except for the Puerto Rican people in the U.S. who do vote and might feel like he actually gives a shit, even though he may not actually do anything. He could really give a lot of lip service. Obama was really good at lip service. He was a great talker, but I think he can BS his way through things. Just like he said a lot. It was really nice and pretty, and it sounded well. He's very eloquent, but Trump, he's just not gonna. No, fuck that. He doesn't care. Yeah. Jamie went on and continued with her Puerto Rico rant. It takes less than 5 minutes to call your senators and Congress people to tell them you want aid to Puerto Rico. She says, I don't know who to call. Here, go to this, usa.gov/agencies. And it'll tell you who to call. You click on the link, usa.gov/AGENCIES. Click on that link, and it'll tell you, let me see, there's a box at the right, like a turquoise box. How do I contact my elected officials? Click that link, and members of Congress, U.S. senators, U.S. reps, state governors, legislators, you click on it, and I think you probably, like U.S. mayors, I don't know. Let's see. Contact local elected officials. I clicked on U.S. mayors. Meet the mayors. What city do I live? I live in Fountain Valley, home of the Valley of Fountains. Oops, I typed it wrong. Son of a bitch.
Bye, Kimberly. Good night.
Good night, Kim. I'll see you tomorrow night for dinner. Just kidding. It's not that kind of party. Oh, okay. So you type in what city you live in, and it'll tell you the phone number to call. It's that simple. So you would just call your local agency. She says she's done plugging her cause, but just take care of citizens and not the other bullshit. And that's the only question. Right. She said you already answered her question. Kim said you already answered her question. So I guess we're done.
Good one. Good one.
You sleepy?
No, actually, I'm not. Actually, you got me pumped up to do more research now.
There you go. Well, hey, I'm wide awake. You have probably what? Hour drive, hour and a half?
Hour and a half, but I got to go home and work, so I'll be up till 2, 3 in the morning.
Well, I was going to say, if before you get home, you start getting sleepy, or you want to call me now, go ahead and do so. So that way you don't fall asleep. You know what I mean? Because I fucking fell asleep earlier. Like, it was really bad. I'm really bad, bro.
I'm gonna put that freestyle on repeat.
Oh, I know, huh?
Oh, no, we should do like 30-minute show next week. I'm gonna try my best to see if I can write down all those metaphors. Like, he has so many double entendres and metaphors in that thing. I'm like, that's like gold to to a hip hop head. Gold.
Okay, then
like
I'll do it.
Wouldn't be able to keep up with.
I'll do a Chino XL one. I already know which song I'm gonna do.
Oh, I think I know what song you're gonna do too.
What do you think it is? And I'll tell you that you're wrong.
He said I'll tell you that you're wrong. He had a song called 400 Bars. You talking about 400 Bars?
Called what?
400 Bars.
Nope. Different song.
Peace out, guys. Peace out.
It's gonna be. Oh, see you later, Julian and Kevin. Yeah, we're just talking now on Facebook Live. Here, why don't we sign off and then you call me?
All right, bro.
All right. Peace out.
All right. Peace out, guys.